Good morning, students. Today we will start with fundamental. As in yesterday class, we did with Python introduction, basic introduction that about the modes of Python and how to install Python in a computer. So today we will start with Python fundamentals. So first is Python character set. Okay, it is a set of valid characters that a language recognizes. Say that if you name anything in a Python, it should be a valid characters. It is a set of valid characters that a language recognizes. See here, you can include letters, either it is capital or small. Then digit 0 to 9, special symbols and white spaces. Okay, next. Yeah. Now we will study about the tokens. What are tokens? Tokens are the smallest individual unit in a program is known as token. There are five type of token in a Python. First one is your keyword, identifier, literal, operators, punctuator. Now comes to keyword. Keyword are the reserved words. Okay, these are the reserved words. What do you mean by reserved words here? The reserved words means Python already taken these words. If you name a variable like false, so Python will say it will give error. It will show you error and it say it's already a reserved word. It reserved by the Python library. Fine. As when you go to the cinema hall, you reserve a seat. No one can sit. Similarly, you can see here if Python library already reserves some words, you can't declare them as a variable or as a function name. Okay, so keyword are the reserved words in the library of a language. Each keyword has a specific meaning to the Python interpreter, and we can use a keyword in our program only for the purpose which it has been defined. So Python is a case sensitive. Keywords must be written for exactly that. If here you will see false. False is F is capital in a false. So remember, wherever you are defining false, you have to mention F as a capital because Python is an case sensitive language. Okay, there are some keywords, we will go through them. First one is your false, class, finally, is, return, break. Okay, these all are the keywords. You must know about the false, then class. Class is when you have to, as I said, that Python is an object oriented language. So Python should be deal with object and class. Okay, that's why class is a result. Finally, is, return, break, these all are the reserved words or keywords you can say which is acceptable by the Python. So all keywords are in lowercase except three keywords, that is true, false and none. Remember, only these are started with the capital case, otherwise all are in lowercase. Next, yeah, identifier. What is identifiers? In programming language, identifier are name used to identify a variable, function, or other entities in a program. If I said you are a class 11th student, okay, that means I doesn't mention anyone. I doesn't point out anyone. If I have to point out, then I have to take a name of that person. Similarly, identifier is like a variable name, class name, or a function name, whatever we want to define. We have to give some name to that entity. Okay. The rules for naming an identifier in Python are as follows. You have to remember these rules whenever you have to give any name to a identifier. You have to remember these things. Keep in your mind that these things should be included. Now, first rule says it can be a combination letter in lowercase or uppercase. Any case you can use, and with any case you can start the name of identifier. Digit, you can include digit or an underscore. Okay, it cannot start with digit. It, yeah. If I say I have to add two numbers, and for that I want to give a name to a function. So I can't start like 1 2 sum. This is wrong. I have to start with either small case or a uppercase. Fine, like this sum. So, or after that, it can include 1, 2, any number or underscore sign, then F. Like this, it's correct. But it cannot start with a digit. And if I said, if I want to sum these two numbers and I give the name of a function class, it will again give you an error because it's a keyword. Okay, keyword cannot be used as a identifier. Now, next, we cannot use a special symbol like at the rate, hash, dollar, any kind of a special symbol you can't use in an identifier. If you written like this, sum, and you put at the rate, again it's wrong. But you can use only underscore. Fine. Comma or blank spaces are also not allowed in the identifier. Now, so these are the most important rules. So which you can't include in your name. First one is you cannot start with a digit. Second thing, you cannot include any special symbol. Third, you cannot include comma or blank spaces. Okay, blank space you can't include. So, for example, to find the average of a marks obtained by a student in three subjects, we can choose identifier like mark 1, mark 2, mark 3 and average rather than ABC. If you write down ABC, so what? If other programmer come and he have to continue that program, so he will be confused that what is ABC. But instead of writing ABC is correct, but instead of writing ABC, if you write down marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, it comes automatically that this program is related to the marks, and average for average. And then you have to find out. Similarly, to calculate, I'm giving you one more example. If you have to calculate the area of rectangle, you can use identifier names such as area, length, breadth instead of single alphabet like ALB. Instead of using single alphabet, always use name which is related to the program. Next is literals. What are literals? Okay, literal are the constant value. These are the constant value. Literals can be defined as data that is given in a variable or a constant. Again, I am repeating, literals are the constant value. Literals can be defined as a data that is given in a variable or a constant. See here, literal can be numeric, can be string, can be boolean, spatial, literal collection, and in numeric you all know integer, float, complex. Boolean, two values are there, only true and false, and none. Okay, so these are the literals. Now we will see what are numeric literals. Numeric literals are immutable. First, here one question, what is mutable and what is immutable? Two things are, and it is very important that you should know what is mutable and what is immutable. Immutable, which you cannot change. If you define something, after defining you cannot change, that is immutable. We will study it later on also, but for the time being, remember, if you define something, if you define, suppose any variable name you given average, avg, if it is average is immutable, that means you cannot change after defining it. You cannot, yeah, you cannot change after defining it. Fine. Yeah. Once you declare something, you cannot change if it is immutable. Similarly, numeric literals are immutable. That means if you define something 5, you cannot change after it. Okay, next is your string literals. String literals can be formed by enclosing a text in the quotes. When we did in last program, we did one hello world. We just print the hello word. So how we declare? In the double quotes. Okay, like this. Hello world. So these are string literals. We can both use single and double. Both are correct. I told you yesterday also, instead of double inverted, you can use the single quotes also. It's on you, whichever you want to like. Okay. Now these are the string literals. Like this, Aman. If you see here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's an integer. You can say, ma'am, it's an integer. But if it in quotes, okay, it consider as a string. See here, you will find out two quotes. So this is, say this said that it's an string. Escape sequence characters. Black slash. Fine. Single quote, double quote with the slash. A sky bell. If these are the symbols you include your program, that means if you include double slash, it says backslash. For slash and single quote, it will use for single quote, double quote. Okay, for slash a sky bell. For slash b, backspace. For f, a sky form feed. For n, new line character, horizontal tab. These are basically when you print output and you want that in such a manner it will be printed. Like we will take an example of new line character. If we add a slash and somewhere while printing in print statement, that means after the slash and the line will started with a new line. Fine. So these are the escape characters. Next is your Boolean literal. As Boolean name suggested, the value should be in two cases, true or a false. A Boolean literal can have any of the two values, either it is true or a false. Next is special literals. Now, Python contains one special literal, that is none. Okay, only one special literal is there, that is none. And why we use none? None is used to specify to that field that is not created. That is not created. It is also used for end of list in Python. Next is your literal collection. Collections such as tuples, list, and dictionary are used in Python. These tuple, list, dictionary we will study in detail. Okay. For a time being, just think that it is a collection. Literal collections are the collection such as tuple, list, and dictionary. Okay, we will take a example of list because you are familiar with the word of list. If you have to make a list, okay, you just what you did for a list. First, second, you will write down the item whatever you want to include in the list. So what if you see is just a collection of item list. When you make any list, if you have to make a list of your books, so first of all you will write science, maths, computer science, English, Hindi, like this, and this is a collection of your subjects. So that's why the word collection comes. Operators. An operator perform the operation on an operand. Basically, there are two type of operator in a Python according to number of operands. First one is unary operator, second one is binary operator. Now, see, if we write down here A plus B, so in this A and B are the operand. A and B are the operand. Okay, and your plus sign is the operator. Fine. So what it says, an operator perform operation on the operand. It performing something on A and B. These are the operand. Basic. Fine. So the definition of operator comes from here only. An operator perform the operation on operands, whether it is plus, minus, anything. Now, basically, there are two type of operators in Python according to number. Unary for a single. Unary means single. Binary, two. Okay. So unary operator and binary operator. What are unary operator? Perform the operation on one operand only. Unary operator perform the operation on one operand only. See here, like unary plus, unary minus, bitwise complement, not logical negation. Yeah, not you already studied in Boolean algebra that what is not just it perform only on one operand. We see x and we gives value 0 and 1. Okay, if we have to find the not of x, then what we write x naught, and here we will write the reverse of 0 is 1 and 1 is 0. This is the unary operator. In Boolean algebra I also defined what are unary operator and what is binary operator. When two operands are used, that means the operator is binary. If one operand is used, that means it is single operator. Binary operator performs operation on two operands. Fine. Next is your separator or punctuator. These all are the marks of separator and the punctuator. You have to just remember. Now, come to mantissa and exponent form. A real number in exponent form has two parts. One is your mantissa, another one is your exponent. What is mantissa? It must be either an integer or a proper real constant. We will see an example. Okay, it must be either an integer or a proper real constant. And exponent, it must be an integer represented by a letter e or e followed by any integer value. See here one is example, you can see that 1 2 3 e. So this 1 2 3 is your mantissa and after e this is your exponent. So this is the valid exponent form and this is invalid. You cannot write like this. Okay, you have to, if you want to define any exponent in a number, after e you have to define the number. So here are some example. You can see lots of examples are here. So the rule, no digit is specified for exponent. Exponent cannot have fractional part also, and no comma allowed in the exponent. There are some basic terms of a Python program. First one is block and indentation. Indentation is very important program. Even if you get error, your program is sometimes correct. You see that code is correct, but still you have an error. That means indentation. There is a problem of indentation. Python provide no braces. Here, if you write any program in Python, we will just open IDLE. Okay, I will open one function to any one program for you. I will show you what is indentation. Yeah. See here in this program, you have two print statement. If you run from here, it will show you no error, but if we change the indentation of any print statement, now we save and we run the module, it shows here unexpected indent. Okay, that means the space, it's showing that you don't include this space, it will show the error in, because why it's showing, as you see in C, C++ or Java, we use the curly braces. That means your function start, your function end. Okay, here no braces are included. You don't have to remember that you have to include braces or not. Only indentation is there. So whenever you are writing, your code is correct but your indentation is not correct, then it will give you an error. Okay. So what I show you in the program, what is indentation now. Python provide no braces to indicate block of code for a class and a function definition or a flow of control. Maximum line length should be maximum 79 characters. Block of code are denoted by line indentation, which is rigidly enforced. Okay, you have to do it yourself, not your console will think about that. Okay, कंसोल नहीं तुम्हारे लिए इसको करेगा. यू हैव टू रिमेंबर योर सेल्फ कि इंडेंटेशन का हमें ध्यान रखना है. कंसोल नहीं बताएगा कि अब तुम्हें इस स्टेटमेंट में स्पेस देना है या नहीं देना है. सो हमेशा यहाँ कर्ली ब्रेसेस का नहीं है, बट इंडेंटेशन तुम्हें हमेशा ध्यान रखनी है. The number of spaces in the indentation is a variable, but all statements within the block must indented with the same amount. Here we will see one more example. If okay, now it will give you an error as expected an indented block. If we see it in C++ or Java in other language, instead of writing this, we will include the curly braces like this. But here no curly braces, only indentation is there. So you have to remember yourself that include the space. Okay. Now F5 again. invalid character in an identifier. Okay, it's just because it's starting, so it's saying if true, your invalid character in the identifier. If true here, it's a reserved keyword, that's why it's giving you an error. Okay, now next is your statement. A line which has the instruction or the expression. Any statement, a line which has the instruction or expression. Now, what are expression? A legal combination of symbols and the values that produce a result. Generally, it produces a value. Comments. How you can define comment? If you have to define comment here, you will write down hash, and you can write this is for true value. Okay, so you have to, this is, if it's after hash, whatever is written in a line, that is your comment. So comments are not executed. Comments explain a program and make a program ununderstandable and readable. All characters after hash up to the end of the physical line are part of the comment, and line interpreter ignores that. There are basically two type of comments. One is single line and another one is multi-line. Single line, I already show you how you can define single line comment. Okay, in multi-line you have to do with quoted sign. Multi-line comments can be written in more than one line. So triple quoted, because single quoted and double quoted are reserved for the string. So triple quoted sign are used for multi-line comments. Okay, this is also known as doc string. Doc means documentation, string you know. So that is for documentation. Now, okay, okay. Oh. See here some other example of the comments. These hash sign, these all are the comments. These are the statement, as you say, a equals to 15 b. These, if individually you will see, these are the statements, and these all are the expression, that if passing a value equals to 15, these are the expression. Indentation, all whatever you study, you can see in the example. Indentation, see indented line. If we started, then you have to leave the space. Okay, that is indentation. These are the blocks, that this block is started from here and ending here. Fine, for this block. Next is, now so you can see examples of indentation here. Inline comments, the comment beginning in the middle of the line, those are inline comments. So you should aware about the indentation, inline comments, multiple comments, statement, expression, and block. Fine. Now, if you want on a single line, you want write multiple lines. So how will you define? Write your one line, then add semicolon, then start your another line. Okay, so semicolon allows multiple statement on a single line, given that neither statement starts a code block. If we will deal with the ITLE, then here you will write down. Okay, Syntax error, that value invalid character in the identifier, because this is your, yeah, there is some error here. Okay, if you have to write this x equals to 5, now enter, print simply the value of 5, okay, is, and print the x. Now it will print the value of, okay, sorry, print value close then comma, I forget the comma, yeah. Now it will print the value equals to 5. Now you want to add it in single line, then how will you? Control C, we will control V, here put the comma again. Yeah, still it's have some error because it's not showing value. Wait, the value it's showing value is print, then, oh, commas, yeah, now commas are, there are they are different commas, that's why it's giving error. No problem. Now value given 5, only there is a difference of commas, these are some other comma, that's why. Fine, so you can write multiple line in a single line. Okay, so we're done till here today, and study it. If you want to work in Python very well, so study hard at your home and do your work on a time. Have a good day.